Shae Russell for mining.com.au, and joining me today is Guy Bourassa, the CEO of Scandium Canada. Guy, it is fabulous to see you again. How are you?
Oh, I'm very, very glad. I'm well, and I enjoy being with you today.
I'm glad to see you once again. Last time we spoke, it was in person when you were in Sydney at IMARC. This time it's a little bit different. You are based in Quebec, and I believe there's been some pretty wild snowstorms happening out there this week. Now, what I wouldn't mind talking about, though, is the progress that you've made with your 3D printing. Now, while you are an explorer looking for scandium in Canada, one of the most exciting parts of your story is actually the 3D powder technology you're developing. Guy, can you walk us through where you're up to date now?
Oh, absolutely. Well, like any other industrial mineral, you need to convince the market that there is, in fact, a market to sell to, pricing mechanism, volumes, quantities, qualities, etc. So about 3 years ago, we decided, Scandium Canada, to try to develop specific markets ourselves, specifically the 3D printing market, to be able to differentiate ourselves, justify volumes, to be able to support a feasibility study down the road for the lithium project that we have, the mining project that we have. That was successful. We worked for about 3 years now with McMaster University in Ontario, and we successfully realized two specific aluminum scandium alloys amenable for 3D printing. That's a real breakthrough. That led to the filing in September 2024 of a patent application for these two specific alloys modified, the 535 and the 7075. And we're advancing that project more rapidly than the mining project. But it needs to be completed before, because that's going to be the supportive information to justify a certain quantity and a certain market and a given price. So unlike I would say, only junior mining company, we're looking to try to generate revenue from IP that we develop by selling or licensing the use of our patented powders. So that helps us, but also it helps us try to find markets that are simply waiting to be reassured that there is a long-term safe supply out there. So it forced us to speak with people we would not have otherwise spoken with if we were only a mining project. So it's a very unique situation in the junior mining sector, and we believe that we're going to be very successful with that.
Well, having this essentially research and development makes you not just a junior mining exploring play, it makes you a tech player as well, because this is a huge advancement for the industry. But speaking of exploration, what are your plans for 2025?
Well, 2025, first, we're going to deliver a updated resource estimate for the TG zone on the Crater Lake project, which is the result of the 2024 diamond drilling program that extended, almost doubled along strike the size of the deposit. It's going to lead also to completing metallurgical pilot of 500 kilo with SGS that is due sometime in March. So I would say that in April, we'll be able to release a resource update and a metallurgical result that's going to be the basis for the pre-feasibility study. But because we have money available now for ground exploration, the property is covering about 14 kilometers along strike. In the middle, you've got the TG zone that only covers roughly less than a kilometer. A kilometer west and southwest of that TG zone, there is historical showing with grades up to 1,000 grams per ton of scandium in the mineralization. So we decided this summer that we're going to be concentrating on two specific showings that have been identified in the past, but not really worked nor drilled. So we're going to be stripping, we're going to be channel sampling, and trying to demonstrate that there's a completely new deposit potential about a kilometer away from the TG zone. So it's going to, in addition to increasing the actual resource on the TG zone, we might be able to identify a completely new potential deposit just southwest of it.
Certainly sounds like there's a lot happening there. And speaking of a lot happening, you are heading to the biggest mining show in the world, kicking off next week. Australians call it PDAC. Tell me, what are you hoping to learn from this event next week?
Well, like you mentioned, it's the world's largest mining exploration and mining industry show around the world. You have most of the countries are there with their delegation. Obviously, all the suppliers and all of the most of the junior sector. So it's interesting because this year we don't have a booth, so we'll be more free to walk around and ourselves decide who we want to talk to specifically. We already have a couple of days of meetings already booked, but you walk around and you do present, and it's completing and continuing our education process with the markets, with the governments, all of the regulation, knowing that hey, we own the world's largest primary source of scandium here in Canada, in Quebec. So, guys, we need your help to fund the development and acceleration of the development of this very, very unique situation in Quebec. So that's what we're going to try to do. We have been invited to present on a technical basis the results of our 3D printing alloys. I am also participating and presenting, discussing about the value chain integration at the German Day session in the afternoon. And so we're going to be exposed and we're going to be working to find as many potential partners and talk to all of the stakeholders.
Look, it'll be a busy few days for you over at PDAC. Listen, Guy, thank you so much for jumping on today. There are some fantastic things happening for Scandium Canada. I do love the progress that is unfolding here. Thank you for joining me.
It's always my pleasure.